Hey guys, so this video is kind of a supplement to the video that I made a few days ago about with some examples of persisting in the knowing that it's done about your manifestation. And I think the more you watch my channel, the more you will see the similarities between things that you have to do regarding your manifestation and just the good old-fashioned advice that you've heard from your mom and your grandma and your dad and everybody else, because everybody has been doing this forever. And knowing about the law, really, you don't have to know about the law to create a life that you really want, as is evidenced by all of the people that have done that without ever having the benefit of having read somebody like Neville Goddard or Hermes or whoever. People do this naturally, and that's why there's all these cliche sayings like, where there's a will, there's a way. So this video is short and to the point, I hope. And this is what to do when your manifestation appears to completely blow up in your face. And I had an example of this in that video that I mentioned, which is, everything, you have your intention. You have gotten to the point where you have that, you just know that you have it. You just know it's going to happen. And then something in the 3D, like, specifically seems to conspire to absolutely screw you. So, like, the example I use is like, this beautiful, magical bridge of incidents happens that appears to be leading towards the exact thing you want. And then for some reason, it just blows up in your face. You have all these interviews, you find this perfect job, you get an offer, and then the company closes, or something happens and they don't end up hiring you. Or, you're going to get the right relationship and you meet this person and it's just like, oh my God, this is it. I know it. And then they just disappear into thin air. And, you are left at a state where most people would just be completely dejected, or most unsuccessful people would be completely dejected. And note the very obvious similarity between what just a typically successful person like Tony Robbins, just for instance, somebody that's like, what kind of attitude would that person have towards this situation happening? It's the exact same thing that you have to have for your manifestation to happen. Because your manifestation is just the same things that these people get without using that term. So when it blows up magnificently, especially when it blows up in a way that seems perfectly designed to completely destroy your faith in the whole thing, that is the point at which you have to remind yourself that your 3D mind does not know shit about shit. Your rational mind is great for certain things, and it is not good for understanding what is good for it much of the time. And when these things blow up, when the person disappears, when the job disappears, when whatever doesn't work out. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, that's the point at which a lot of people turn that person into their SP and start obsessing over it and trying to manifest it and all that shit. I don't know. I'm not down with that. I'm going to talk about the SP thing soon, because I often make comments about the SP thing that's negative, but really it's only in circumstances like that I think the SP thing is just dumb. There are a lot of good circumstances under which I totally understand why people want, there's not a replacement for, there's not a replacement for the father of your children. So I get that. Anyway, so at this point of things blowing up, that is when I think people often become obsessed and hung up on the thing that their rational mind had deduced was the answer to their problems. And this to me is just a fundamental no faith type of response. I get why people do it, and I get why they justify it using stuff that Neville Goddard said, but in my opinion, that is messing with the middle, which he says not to do. And in my opinion, that's just an ego-driven pursuit, because what I find you need to do in those situations is realize that often your rational mind does not know what's good for it. Your rational mind thinks it wants something, and later that very same rational mind says, wow, that would have been really bad. We've all experienced that. So in those moments when it appears like the thing that you were supposed to get, you know, because you manifested it, just is gone. When it appears that the whole thing has blown up, you have to remind yourself that you are looking at things from the ground level perspective. You do not have the vision. You do not have the distance or the wisdom, frankly, that divine intelligence does, to know how the fulfillment of your desire is actually going to come about and what needs to be in that, involved in that, included in that. So at that worst moment, that is the most key and pivotal time to, at some level, understand that while the current situation completely sucks and you're having your emotional reaction to it, that is the absolute worst time to start not believing and start just kind of like reversing the whole thing. So in that moment, in fact, I'll go a step further than that. If you can start to take something that your rational mind thought would be good for you and absolutely did not work out for you as the biggest sign that that was going to be something bad for you, and to start feeling grateful that it didn't happen, start, saying, thank you that that didn't work out. I know that I thought I wanted this and it looked really good, but I know that if I didn't get it, that means that it wasn't. If you can start to approach it that way, then I think you will find this whole thing much easier to deal with, and you will start to have experiences that reinforce all of that, meaning you will get the thing you want and look back in hindsight and say, thank God this other thing didn't work out. Somebody was talking some shit about me once on one of the forums, and they said something like, everything that she said, she just twists everything to fit her narrative. Like, dude, I have gotten everything I want. People talk a lot about the specific stuff and how you're supposed to be able to get it. And, if you don't, just always try to figure out a specific thing that you want and try to get that thing. And if you do figure out a specific thing that you want and you don't get it, that's your fault, and that somehow your little ant mind can make all this stuff happen. What do we need? What do we need God for? What do we need a divine intelligence for if the little, limited human is capable of all this stuff? What do we need this for? Why don't you just figure it out yourself? Why do you need something else to do anything for you? It's like people treat divine intelligence like it's, like it's the 5% while you're the 95%, when it's the other way around completely. I don't know. What's most important to me, the objective for me, for everything in life, is success. And this is the way that I've gotten it. This is how I've come to understand it. And it's what I have to say about it. And I just think that, constantly approaching things with the idea that you know better, it's just antithetical to the entire thing. And I really, because I've been so successful, because I have everything I want, that's the only reason that I feel confident in talking about this. Because a lot of the stuff I'm saying, you will probably notice, is just directly counter to what has popped up as this idea of the way things work. This has not been my experience. The general understanding of all of this stuff has not been my experience, which is why I feel compelled to make this channel a lot of the time, because, I don't have kids. I don't want kids. And if I had kids, maybe I would just, develop some humans and give them all of this stuff, these thoughts and everything. But I don't have kids, and so here it is. I'm putting it out there for whoever might need it. And you will benefit greatly from adopting this mentality about things that don't work out that you thought you wanted, rather than blaming yourself and thinking that you knew what you wanted and failed at manifesting it. You know, you have to understand that you have a deeper desire related to that specific desire, and that deeper desire is what is going to manifest in some form or another. Sometimes in the form of the thing that you thought you wanted, sometimes in the form of something else, at which point apparently that is when you just fit it to shift your narrative and pretend like you're actually happy with the thing you got, and when you didn't actually get the thing. No, that's not how it works. I'm not sitting here with my fiance going, man, you know, I got this, but I'm just gonna fit it to my narrative. And you know, when really I really think that, you know, that alcoholic dude that cared about everybody more than me, that's really the one I wanted. Or, you know, that guy that like was a total misogynist and had no respect for me, that's the one I really wanted, but instead I ended up with this awesome guy. Damn. You know, like, how ridiculous. I'm sorry, I've been a little ranty on this channel lately, and it's because I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I have held back a lot of my actual opinions about things, believe it or not, on this channel early on, because I wasn't sure yet. I had not gotten the final piece. You know, the last thing I wanted in my 3D was the right, you know, when I say the right person, I mean the person that works with me for what I want moving forward with my life, hopefully from here on out. I hadn't gotten that yet, and I really wanted it, and it had really eluded me, and I was 40. So I was a little tentative about this, even though I knew I was going to get it. You know, it hadn't actually materialized yet, so, you know, I was still very questioning about it. I have everything I want now. I've seen it play out for the biggest thing that was missing for me, and I've seen it working for the mental things that I have intended for, like not caring what anyone thinks, and like being free from the idea that how, you know, I can only be good enough if I look a certain way. You know, these things have been working themselves out in a way I never would have expected. Things have happened that I never would have thought would contribute to that. And that's just the thing. You know, what I would think needed to happen for those things to resolve was not at all what actually happened that made those things resolved, which is why I'm making this video, I guess. Yeah, anyway, that's it. So yeah, my short video ended up being 13 minutes. But I guess you expect that by now.